Welcome back, everyone. Grab your popcorn because today's story is packed with shocking twists, emotional moments, and secrets that change everything. Let's jump right in. I settled in the other evening to watch the latest from General Hospital, and I have to tell you, that baby shower for Portia started off with more tension in the air than a summer storm rolling in. What should have been a joyful celebration for the new little one on the way quickly showed signs of trouble brewing underneath all the smiles and gifts. You could feel it building before anything even happened. The biggest shock came when Chase showed up with every intention of taking his own wife, Brooke Lynn, into custody right there at the party. My jaw dropped. Here's a man who clearly loves her, yet he was being pushed into doing something no decent person would ever want to do to their own family. And the one behind it all, the one who had gotten into his head and set him on this path, Willow, that hit me like a ton of bricks. It just didn't sit right with me, watching someone turn a good man against everything he holds dear. It felt wrong on every level. What worried me even more was the chance that Brooke Lynn might walk right into the middle of it and see the hostility erupt with her own eyes. If she did, the guilt over whatever impulsive choice she made earlier could easily become too much to carry. I've seen how one hasty decision can ripple out and hurt the very people we're trying to protect. It makes my chest tight just thinking about the weight she's already shouldering and how much heavier it might get before this is over. On top of everything else, Jordan decided she wasn't going to stay away, even with all the bad blood still simmering between Curtis and Isaiah. That took nerve, and it set the stage for a real showdown with Portia over Curtis getting arrested in the first place. Jordan didn't pull any punches either, pointing out that maybe Isaiah was the one who ought to be facing charges for leaving the scene of that accident. It was the kind of sharp remark that brings every old wound right back to the surface. Watching two strong women go at it like that, I couldn't help but feel for both of them. Everybody involved is hurting in their own way, and sometimes the words just fly before anybody can stop them. All of it together got me reflecting on how these stories hit so close to home. Families argue secrets come out when you least expect them, and sometimes the people we trust most end up steering us down roads we never wanted to walk. But there's also this steady thread of hope running through it all. Even when things look darkest, these characters keep fighting for the ones they love. It reminds me why I've stuck with General Hospital for so long. It doesn't shy away from the messy parts of life, but it also shows the strength it takes to pick up the pieces afterward. I walked away from that episode with my mind racing about what comes next for Chase and Brooke Lynn and whether she can find a way through the guilt before it pulls her under. Whatever happens, I know it's going to be full of heart and surprises, just like always. I'm already counting the days until the next one. These folks in Port Charles feel like family after all these years, and family drama this rich never gets old. I'll be right here, ready to see how it all shakes out. The tension at Portia's baby shower was already thick enough to cut with a knife when Chase walked in with that look on his face. Everybody could feel something big was about to happen, but nobody expected what came next. Brooke Lynn couldn't hold it in any longer. Right there in the middle of the celebration, she blurted out the truth she had been carrying for too long. She was the one driving the car that night. She was the one who left the scene of the accident, not Isaiah. The words just came pouring out of her, and once they were said, there was no taking them back. She looked so sorry when she said it. Brooke Lynn explained that she hadn't even known about the crash until much later, and that was why she had stayed quiet all this time. She apologized from the heart, and you could hear the regret in every word. But that silence of hers had already done its damage, and now everybody was feeling the weight of it. Isaiah's career as a surgeon had been put on hold because of the fallout, and Curtis was now stuck in a criminal case that might never have gone this far if the truth had come out sooner. Hearing her own voice say it out loud made the guilt on her face even heavier. It was a lot for one person to carry, and it showed. I sat there watching and felt my own chest get tight. Owning up like that takes real courage, especially when you know it's going to change everything for the people you care about most. Brooke Lynn had been living with this secret, probably telling herself it was better to stay quiet, but secrets like that have a way of growing until they explode. It got me thinking about how easy it is to convince yourself that not saying anything is the safest choice, only to find out later that staying silent hurt more people in the end. Her apology felt honest, but it also came at a time when the damage was already done. What made it even harder was seeing how this one confession rippled out and touched so many lives. Isaiah had been working towards something good with his surgery career, and now that path was interrupted because the truth had stayed buried for so long. Curtis was already dealing with his own legal troubles, and this new revelation only made his situation more complicated. It didn't seem fair that one person's silence could pull so many others off track, but that's exactly what happened. Brooke Lynn's decision to finally speak up was brave, yet it also opened up wounds that had been quietly festering for a while. The room felt different after she said it. You could almost hear the pieces falling into place as everybody tried to make sense of what this meant for the people they loved. Jordan had already decided to show up at the shower despite all the bad blood between Curtis and Isaiah, and now with Brooke Lynn's confession out in the open, the argument between Jordan and Portia over Curtis's arrest felt even heavier. Jordan didn't hold back either. She pointed out that maybe Isaiah was the one who should have been facing charges for leaving the scene. The words landed with extra force now that everybody knew the real driver had been someone else all along. It was the kind of family clash that leaves everybody raw and hurting. I couldn't stop thinking about how one impulsive choice, and then the silence that followed, had created such a long chain of problems. Brooke Lynn looked like the guilt was finally catching up to her in a way she couldn't push down anymore. She had tried to protect herself or maybe protect someone else by staying quiet, but in the end, it only made everything worse for the people around her. It reminded me of how in real life, sometimes the things we don't say end up causing more pain than the truth ever could. Watching her finally lay it all out on the table was powerful, but it also made me wonder what comes next for her now that the secret is out. Brooke Lynn's apology and confession didn't magically fix anything, but it did force everybody to face what had really been going on. Trina's bold move showed just how deep the hurt had gone and how far someone was willing to go to see justice done. It got me thinking about loyalty and how it can push people to act in ways they might not have expected. These characters feel like real folks dealing with the kind of messy situations that happen in families everywhere. Even with all the heartache and tension, I found myself caring even more about how they're going to pick up the pieces from here. Brooke Lynn's guilt is out in the open now, and Trina's decision has added a whole new layer of trouble on top of everything else. It makes you realize how much these stories pull you in because they show the real cost of secrets and the courage it takes to finally speak up. I'm already wondering what the next episodes will bring and how everybody is going to handle the storm that's still brewing. Watching Brooke Lynn finally speak up and own what she had kept hidden for so long really stayed with me. Her apology felt honest, even if it came late, and it showed the heavy cost of staying silent. Isaiah's career and Curtis's legal troubles are proof that some secrets do more damage the longer they stay buried. It takes real courage to lay everything out in the open like she did. Trina's bold move on the June 10 episode added even more fuel to an already burning fire. Marching into that police station took nerve, and it came from a place of deep loyalty and frustration. I have a feeling this is only the beginning of more trouble ahead for Brooke Lynn and everyone around her. These stories keep pulling me in because they remind me how messy family loyalty can be and how one choice can change everything. I'll be right here waiting to see how they all find their way through it